A federal judge says President Trump cannot officially rename the Kennedy Center. The new filing just in says Congress gave the Kennedy Center its name, and only Congress can change it, ordering the administration to remove the new signage and change the website in the next 14 days. The judge will also stop the president from closing the performing arts facility for 2 years while it goes through repair work. However, it does not prevent work from actually getting done. Democratic Congresswoman Joyce Beatty is on board and brought the lawsuit. On the board, I should say, and brought the lawsuit. And she writes in a statement to NBC News, quote, "The Kennedy Center is an institution that belongs to the American people, not to Donald Trump." The president has taken a hands-on approach to the Kennedy Center, naming himself the chair and undoing the board. But you can see ticket sales have been dropping dramatically, down by more than 50% from last year. That according to a New York Times analysis.
The Kennedy Center drama, renaming battles, artist boycotts, court blocks, planned shutdown, exposes government culture as cronyist farce. From an Objectivist and AnCap view, tax-funded art centers are temples of coercion. Ayn Rand nailed the core evil. The fundamental evil of government grants is the fact that men are forced to pay for the support of ideas diametrically opposed to their own. This is a profound violation of individual integrity. Kennedy Center, born from federal charter and taxpayer money, mixes politics with art by design. Recent Trump-era board moves, renaming pushes, Trump Kennedy Center, cancellations, ballet, Philip Glass, Hamilton, and legal fights reveal politicization, dependency, and waste. Artists resisting via boycotts still rely on the subsidized system.
Why does this judge say the president's name has to come down and that the closure has to stop?
It's exactly what you pointed to in the introduction, Tom, which is this issue of Congress needing to play a role in this, that this isn't something that can be done arbitrarily by the Kennedy Center board, which, remember, the president did appoint many of his own allies to, and that is when they had this overwhelming vote to try to advance some of what the president wanted to see happen to the very historic building and memorial to former President John F. Kennedy. And so that is where you saw all of these different changes take place. But this judge is saying that that is not the way that it should have happened potentially. Now, what's interesting here is that in this ruling, they're saying essentially that the Kennedy Center shouldn't go forward with its planned closure, but they had already laid off a lot of the staff in anticipation of what they thought would be a closure. So it's unclear exactly what is going to happen to that part of it, which is interesting, of course, to us, Tom, but also to the fact that the president did have his own name, as you of the Performing Arts Center. And if it is going to come down within the next couple of weeks, when exactly that's going to happen is unclear. We have reached out to the White House for their reaction and their response, and they have not weighed in yet. But this is the kind of thing that you almost certainly can expect President Trump to want to weigh in on himself. This is just part of his major plan and really his, I think you could call it, near obsession with some of the renovation projects, not just at the White House, as we've seen with the East Room and with the Ballroom project, but with things like the Kennedy Center and beyond that, where he's really trying to leave his mark and his stamp physically on the Washington area and beyond. Tom.
Absolutely. We've not yet heard from the president, but a reminder, of course, that the Kennedy Center was named by Congress a monument to former President John F. Kennedy after his assassination.
Objectivism celebrates art as a selective recreation of reality, serving rational values. State involvement corrupts this. Rand, there are two aspects of man's existence which are the special province and expression of his sense of life: love and art. Government funding turns art into propaganda or mediocrity funded by force. AnCap critique: taxation is theft. A proper government is only a policeman. It may resort to force only against those who start the use of force. Boycotts prove voluntary association works. Artists and audiences self-sort in real markets. The renaming egoist and shutdown fights waste tax dollars. Agorist angle build parallel cultures, private venues, crypto patronage, FATs, and indie productions. Rand on broader statism. We are fast approaching the stage of the ultimate inversion, the stage where the government is free to do anything it pleases, while the citizens may act only by permission. The Kennedy Center embodies this inversion.
I don't know whether it will come in our lifetime, but I know the only way that we achieve peace in the world, which we have had indications in the past, the necessary precondition of peace is that men renounce the idea that good, any kind of good, can be achieved by force. So long as men believe that they have the moral right for an alleged noble purpose to force other men for their version of the good, you will not put an end to war, and wars will continue.
Privatize it fully. Sell to private operators or convert to voluntary membership. End all subsidies. True flourishing comes from private patronage and profit-seeking creators serving willing audiences. Rand's vision, capitalism is based on self-interest and self-esteem. It holds integrity and trustworthiness as cardinal virtues. Apply this to art, rational aesthetics, judged by objective standards, not tribes. Reject tax-funded culture, embrace the productive, the heroic, the voluntary. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next video.